The story begins at a birthday party, but not everyone's having fun. Casey, a quiet, distant girl, sits alone while her classmate Claire celebrates with friends. Claire tells her dad she only invited Casey out of pity. When the party ends, Casey finds out her ride isn't coming, so Claire's dad offers to drive her home. Marcia, Claire's best friend, joins them. While the girls are getting into the car, Claire's dad stays at the trunk, carefully loading containers and packing things away. Suddenly, a stranger slides into the driver's seat. He's not Claire's father. Casey senses something's wrong. The man calmly puts on a mask and in seconds sprays the girls with a chemical that knocks them out. Casey wakes up in a dim, windowless room. Claire and Marcia are already there, terrified. Before they can figure out what's happening, a man enters, wearing glasses, moving with tense precision. He takes Marcia away. When she returns, she's shaken. She says he told her to dance for him. Claire tries to rally them to fight back, but Casey urges caution. She watches everything carefully, measured, calm, and thinking ahead. Flashes from her past begin to resurface. During a hunting trip, young Casey sits quietly at a roadside diner, having a meal with her father and Uncle John. Everything seems normal, but there's a strange tension beneath the surface. Meanwhile, Dr. Karen Fletcher catches a breaking news report about 3 missing teenage girls. The broadcast barely holds her attention until she sees a new email pop up from one of her patients. It's from Barry. Something about it feels wrong. Back in the locked room, tension is rising. The girls argue, desperate, scared, trying to figure out how to escape. Claire insists they fight back the next time the man comes in, but Casey stays quiet, thinking. She says they need to understand what they're dealing with first. Claire sees it as resistance, but for Casey, it's survival. Another memory rises to the surface. This time, young Casey is inside a tent deep in the woods. Her father shows her how to steady a gun and aim carefully. It's a hunting lesson, but the way she listens, the way she absorbs everything, hints at something deeper. At Dr. Fletcher's clinic, the man arrives in a new persona, Barry. He's eccentric, animated, and dressed like a fashion designer. He shows off his sketchbook, talking about inspiration and style. But Dr. Fletcher is studying him closely. Something feels off. His behavior, his movements, none of it really feels like Barry. Back in the room, the girls peek through a crack in the door and are shocked to see what looks like a woman speaking softly with their captor. But it's not a woman. It's the same man, now dressed in a long skirt and turtleneck. He introduces himself as Patricia, one of his many personalities. Patricia calmly tells the girls they won't be harmed, but there's a purpose to their captivity, a plan. Then she leaves. Dr. Fletcher defends her theory to a skeptical colleague. While others dismiss DID as a mental illness, she believes these personalities can reshape the body and unlock something deeper. Trauma, she explains, doesn't just fracture the mind. It teaches it to adapt in ways science is only beginning to understand. Later, Kevin, now back as Dennis, enters the girls' bathroom. He scolds them for the mess, places a bucket of cleaning supplies on the floor, and tells them to kneel and clean. Then he says they've been chosen as sacred food and promises not to bother them again. The girls are left disturbed, wondering if he meant to feed them to a dog or something worse. Later that night, Casey is woken by Claire and Marcia, who quietly point to the door. Sitting there, smiling, in a yellow windbreaker, is someone new, still their captor, but different. This is Hedwig, a 9-year-old personality trapped inside a grown man's body. He talks playfully, warning them that someone is coming. By now, the girls understand. They're not dealing with one person. These identities are real. And Hedwig, though childish, holds power. Casey sees an opening. She plays along, acts friendly, asks him to come closer so she can whisper. She subtly probes for information, learning that Dennis had been watching Claire and Marcia for days before the abduction. Hedwig is easy to influence, but also suspicious. When Casey suggests that Patricia and Dennis might be lying to him and that he might be the one they're planning to feed, he gets nervous. She makes up a story. The girls aren't prisoners, they're his babysitters, here to protect him. But to do that, he has to help them escape. Hedwig pulls away, uncertain. Casey watches through the crack as he fumbles with a lock outside the second door. Inside, the girls jump into action. They start knocking on the drywall, searching for a weak spot. Claire finds one above them, in the ceiling. She tears at it with her heels while the others brace the door. But Hedwig is back, and furious. He demands to be let in. The girls hold the door, buying Claire time. Then the voice changes. It's no longer Hedwig, it's Dennis. He forces the door open with brute strength as Claire pulls herself up into the ceiling. Claire scrambles through the vents. Dennis follows, yelling behind her. She slips into a locker and tries to stay silent, but he hears her. He demands she come out, tells her to remove her sweater, leads her away, then locks her in a separate room, alone. Dennis returns and fixes the ceiling. He warns Casey and Marcia that Claire is now being kept somewhere else. Then, without emotion, he tells them to remove their sweaters and skirts. Meanwhile, Dr. Fletcher is on a video call with colleagues from Paris. They discuss dissociative identity disorder, specifically, whether identities can reshape the body itself. It's a theory most of them reject. After the call, Barry arrives for a session, but Dr. Fletcher senses something is wrong. This doesn't feel like Barry. His posture, speech, and compulsive behavior are all different. She gently challenges him, suggesting another personality may have taken the light. He pushes back, frustrated, defensive, insisting he's still Barry. But Fletcher doesn't buy it. Back in the room, Marcia tries to keep Casey focused. They need a plan before it's too late. But Casey drifts off into another memory. She's out in the forest on a hunting trip. Her father has just killed a deer. They're not alone. Uncle John is there too. Later, Patricia appears, draped in a shawl, calm and composed, like a strict schoolmistress or a monk. She invites Casey and Marcia to the kitchen for a proper meal, saying they've behaved better than Claire. As she quietly prepares sandwiches, Marcia sees an opening. She grabs a stool and strikes her from behind, but Patricia barely reacts. Marcia runs out of the kitchen, but doesn't get far. By then, the personality has changed. It's Dennis now. Same clothes, different presence. He takes control instantly. He orders Casey to lock herself away. Then he finds Marcia trembling and locks her in a separate room. Alone with Casey, Dennis speaks seriously for the first time about the hidden personality he calls the Beast. He warns her, the Beast is real and he's coming. In another memory, young Casey is alone in the woods while her father naps. Her uncle approaches her, gun in hand. The moment is quiet but tense. It feels wrong. Casey wakes to find Hedwig curled up behind her, clinging to her for comfort. He talks about the others inside him, how only Patricia and Dennis believe in the Beast. Most, like Barry, don't. But Hedwig says he's special. He gets to choose who's in control. When Casey asks if he's seen the Beast, he avoids the question and suddenly asks if he can kiss her. It's awkward, but she plays along. After the kiss, Hedwig mentions he has a CD player in his room next to a window and says his favorite artist is Kanye West. Hearing that, Casey quickly shifts the conversation, asking if she can come to his room to dance and hear his music. Hedwig seems excited by the idea, but then remembers it's almost time for Barry's appointment. At their next session, Dr. Fletcher speaks to someone who appears to be Barry, but she knows it's Dennis. She stays calm, gently pushing him to open up. Dennis explains that he and Patricia were mocked by the other personalities for years. Now they've taken control, not to hurt anyone, but to protect Kevin, the original identity behind them all. Dr. Fletcher asks about the Beast. Dennis describes it as something powerful, beyond human, but Fletcher still believes it's just a fantasy. Later, Hedwig finally brings Casey to his room. Music blares from the stereo. He dances wildly, lost in his own world. Then he shows her a window drawn in crayon, convinced it's real. When Casey gently tells him it's not, he gets upset, accusing her of trying to escape through it. Casey quickly changes her approach. She softens, then pleads with him to help her leave. Moved, Hedwig gives her a walkie-talkie he says he stole from Dennis. He tells her he listens to people talk through it sometimes. Casey turns it on. Someone responds, possibly a police officer. But before she can explain, Hedwig's face changes. His playfulness fades. He snatches the walkie-talkie back. Without raising his voice, he tells Casey to put her hands together and quietly walk back to her room. As she steps back, she spots a loose nail on the floor and quickly hides it before he returns. Moments later, he comes back, now fully Dennis, dressed in black with his glasses on. He tells her the Beast will be pleased once the night is over and shuts her inside. Casey slips into another memory. She's a child again, walking alone through the woods. Her Uncle John calls to her from behind a rock. He's partially undressed, telling her they're pretending to be animals, creatures that don't wear clothes. The scene fades to silence. Later, she stands above his hiding place holding a rifle. She loads it, aims, hesitating. He gently takes it from her, thinking it's just play. But in her eyes, there's something heavier, a weight she's carried for a long time. Back in the present, Dr. Fletcher grows alarmed after seeing 20 urgent messages from Barry. She goes straight to Kevin's home. As she arrives, Dennis is already stepping out. Surprised, he hesitates, then lets her in. He leads her down a dim hallway to what he calls Barry's room and begins explaining Kevin's past, the real person they all come from. He tells her Kevin's mother was abusive, harsh, demanding perfection. Dennis says he emerged to help Kevin survive, to bring order and control where there was only fear. Dr. Fletcher listens closely. She believes Kevin can heal, but not through these identities, not this way. She warns Dennis that there are other paths, ones that don't involve surrendering the light to 23 personalities. But Dennis pushes back. He tells her the beast is real. He describes it with awe, as something strong, pure, unstoppable. When Dr. Fletcher presses him, asking why the beast wants to hurt young women, Dennis grows cagey. He says the beast only feeds on the impure, the ones who haven't suffered, who are unbroken. Feeling the tension rise, Dr. Fletcher cuts the session short. She asks to use the bathroom, but she's really stalling, looking for answers. As she steps into the hall, she notices something strange. Light spills from 2 doors at the end of the hallway, but both are locked from the outside. She peers through one and freezes. Claire is in there, barely conscious. Before she can react, Dennis appears, now silent, expressionless. He raises a spray can and blasts her in the face with chemicals. The screen goes black. After a long effort, Casey uses the nail to unlock the first door, but the next one is still locked. She spots a nearby computer and tries to connect to the internet. It doesn't work. Then she notices video files on the desktop, each labeled with the name of a different personality. She starts playing them one by one. Meanwhile, Claire and Marcia are doing everything they can to break out, but none of the doors will budge. At the same time, Dennis boards an old train. There, something terrifying happens. He transforms into a new identity, stronger, faster, far more dangerous. The beast has arrived. Back in the compound, the videos play as Casey keeps trying to open the next door. The beast sprints through the city, moving like something inhuman. He jumps over a gate, heading straight for them. Dr. Fletcher wakes up, groggy on the floor, barely conscious. She reaches for a pencil and scribbles something on a piece of paper. When she looks up, the beast is already in the room. She grabs a kitchen knife from the table. Struggling to speak, she tries to say something, but she doesn't have the strength. She stabs him. The blade snaps. The beast crushes her without hesitation. Back with Casey, she watches a video where Barry grabs his cap, and behind it, a keyring hangs on a wall peg. She looks up. The same peg is near the door. The keys are there. She grabs them, unlocks the door, and steps into a hallway. As she moves through the hall, she finds Marcia, already dead. In the next room, she sees Claire, barely alive. But the beast grabs her and starts eating her. Casey quietly locks the door and backs away. She heads toward the kitchen, careful not to make a sound. There, she finds Dr. Fletcher's body and a note left on the table. Say his name, Kevin Wendell Crumb. Before she can react, the beast crawls into view. She starts shouting Kevin's full name, louder each time. It works. Kevin breaks through, confused, terrified. He flashes back to hiding under the bed as his mother screams his name, holding a hot iron. As the memory fades, Kevin snaps back to reality. He has no idea what's happened. Looking at Casey, he tells her there's a shotgun and shells hidden in the drawer. He begs her to use it and end it. But as the personalities shift, he suddenly tells her to stop. His face changes. Identity after identity takes over. When Hedwig appears, Casey grabs the gun and runs to find bullets. She knows the beast is coming back. She runs off to find bullets and gets them just in time. But before she can load the gun, the beast appears, ripping her sweater, then vanishes into the dark. Casey grabs the bullets, loads the gun, and locks herself inside a nearby cage. Wounded, she drags herself to the far end. In her mind, she flashes back to her childhood, her father's funeral, Uncle John promising to take care of her. Back to reality, the beast returns. Casey lifts the gun and fires, once, then again. The bullets hit, but they don't stop him. He steps forward, grabs the bars, and bends them apart with ease. Then he stops. He sees the burn scars on her body. His face shifts. His rage softens. He calls her pure, someone who's suffered, like Kevin, and he turns and walks away. Later, a man finds Casey locked inside the cage and helps her out. She's taken to safety. Police search the basement and uncover everything: Kevin's journals, his files, and all the signs of his many identities. Somewhere else, Kevin hides. The personalities inside him argue, all fighting for control. They've seen what the beast can do, and now they believe in him. Finally, inside a quiet diner, a news report breaks the story. 2 teenage girls and a woman found murdered in a zoo basement. The suspect, Kevin Crumb. For the first time, the world begins to understand. Dissociative identity disorder isn't just real, it's more powerful than anyone imagined. A woman at the counter remembers. A news story triggers a memory of a man in a wheelchair with the same condition. She and her friends used to joke about him, even gave him a nickname. The man beside her looks up. He says the name, Mr. Glass, and the story ends, for now. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos like this. There are amazing stories coming your way. Take care, and see you next time.